Now, just every now and again, one of the cheapy, well, brands would surprise you back in the 80s by producing something that was a little bit different, shall I say. And you're probably thinking this is a micro cassette boombox. No, alas, they're rather like the Holy Grail now, or honest politicians. You ain't going to find them in a hurry. But this little thing was made for the Saisho brand, who were from memory either Dixon's or Curry's home brand. And it's a Walkman with an FM medium wave radio, and rather unusually a recording facility. Stop, eject, record, play, rewind, fast forward. And up here you select a switch for the modes. Very simple: tape, medium and FM. It's AC bias recording because it's got this beat cut switch on it. And they were provided to stop the birdie whistle sound that you sometimes got when taping stations. The frequency of the station would somehow interact with the frequency that the little AC signal generator for the erase head in your set was running at, and you get a sort of whistly sound. The AC bias recording system, or erasure system, is far superior to the DC because it gave a much cleaner tape. Erased it much more thoroughly, so you didn't tend to find that you got all the rumbling and the hissy sort of sound that you did with DC bias. And all the better machines were of course AC bias. Now, as well as taping from the radio, which you could do, you could tape live from a microphone here. Runs on 3 HP7 batteries, now called AAs. You can use it as a Walkman by plugging headphones in there. But yeah, well, as you see, it's got the speakers with it now. You don't want the speakers if you're going to use it as a Walkman. So this is the clever bit. They slide away, and you can see there the two springs. Those are your terminals. They mate with these little plates on the side here as you push the speaker down, and there you are. Power goes through. You don't need speaker leads. It's a very, very tidy looking affair on the back as a result. The speakers can be separated. Laughably, they've even got a thing so you can hang them on the wall, look. And in that case, then you would have to have a speaker lead. I suppose you plug it in the headphone and it would divide into two and go to one each. But as you see, very neat indeed. There go your batteries in there. It's a PS60R, the model, and it's made in Korea. So it's even more surprising, isn't it? Probably they had it made by, I don't know, Panasonic or Toshiba perhaps. One of those brands, one of those companies would have done it. But the sound, although of course there isn't really any depth to the bass on it because, well, there couldn't be, could there? It's too tiny. There's no tone control either, no graphic equalizer. I mean, to make this really flash, you could have had a 3-band graphic there, couldn't you? But no. Sound isn't too bad as they go. Let's see what the radio does. And a little FM stereo LED comes on there. Good Lord. Sounds like a disaster in a bicycle factory. And so there's your radio on FM at any rate. It's a lousy reception area here. I don't get very good reception at all. Now, with regards to the tape deck, it didn't seem to want to play very well at all, and there were a couple of very good reasons. For one thing, the belt in it was hopelessly slack. and so wouldn't pull smoothly anymore. But on the playhead, the screw on the right that you set up the alignment with was missing, and so was the spring below. So I've had to carefully fit another spring and screw from a wreck. And as you can hear, it's not a bad sound as they go. It actually sounds as good on tape as it does on the radio, which is unusual. They tended to do one better than the other, didn't they, the cheapies? Fair bit of hiss, I know, but that's this tape. It's getting on a bit like its owner. So there you are. I thought you might be interested to see this rather strange beast. It's the sort of thing that you'd expect to be made by Sony, isn't it, really? Or one of the Japanese makers that was into microcassettes, Sony, Iowa, one of those. But nope, it's just a bog standard Saisho. And yeah, they could have put an equalizer on there, couldn't they? There's enough room. The innards are very compact, shall I say. Compact and bijou is the best way to describe it, and believe me, I needed my glasses to fix this. I think that from here, at one point, there was probably a braided metal strap that bridged across to there. Much like the little Iowa microcassette boombox I showed the other day does, So, yeah, nice piece of kit though, and certainly very unusual. I've never seen one like this in years. Remember things like this new back in the 80s, but haven't seen anything quite like this in donkey's years. Oh dear, yeah, I don't know. What a peculiar little thing. Well, that's a good thing. I was reading in the paper next door yesterday. Seems that when they had those London riots, was it last year? And all those chavs and trailer trash and darkies were wrecking the joint. One of them was over here from Iraq, of all places, and living in a £3 million house in Kensington. Now, Kensington is one of the posher areas of London, for those of you who don't know, and the rent is astronomical there. And they've just put him in clink for 6 years for his part in the riots. 6 years, 6.5 years, whatever it was. Send the bugger home. Why should we keep this garbage here? Let alone pay out God knows what in rent for them. Makes you sick, doesn't it? Anyway, see you soon.